I'm introducing my friend Krish Satish Chawla. He helped me set up this whole podcast. It's a very DIY setup, and I'm just so happy that it's finally happening. He has studied his filmmaking in Budapest Metropolitan University, and like, I have, dude, you know my favorite topic. It's like India versus abroad. Like, I want to know everything about Budapest. I've traveled Western Europe, but I don't know much about that region where you were studying. So I can. How I think how many years were you there?
6.
6 years. So dude, like, can you tell me a little bit about your experience?
So, in the beginning, everything was like a traditional dorm life kind of environment that you can think of. Everything was new. The whole way I got to the university was also pretty like. So how it happened was like I kind of wasn't really sure which university to go to, and I was looking at a film school outside of India, and I was really like romanticized by
Yeah.
all the universities and stuff, and I wanted to go abroad.
But like, why Europe? Like, you could have gone to what is it, NYU has a good course, or like
Exactly, like I didn't have that much money to go there.
Okay,
I'm not
yeah.
gonna spend like a few crores
crazy. Yes,
on my
US does that. Yes.
yeah. So, Whistling Woods, I got admitted to Whistling Woods, and I had another option that was Budapest Metropolitan University.
Yeah.
I got selected there, and they didn't need my scores at all. Like
Yeah.
I had got like something like 53% in 12th grade.
Yeah, so that's one thing that I have to like say that Krish or Crush. Like, firstly, you
Krish.
need to tell me, is it Krish or is it Crush? Because
It's
like
Krish.
because your spelling is KRSH.
Yeah,
So like I'm always confused, and I'm calling you both names. So
yeah, it's Krish.
okay, so Krish has always been like creatively inclined, and everything creative I first go and like speak to him, because like I know I can like speak at length about stuff. So yeah, I mean that's great. Like, what was, you weren't like at all inclined towards anything like finance, or it was an easy decision to
Well,
go
I've
into?
been very bad. My entire school life
Yeah.
has been very non-academic, because when people were like doing math stuff and all, like I was completely like looking, like I had no idea what was going on in class. Like, I couldn't even do basic multiplication problems like properly. I don't know if I had learning disability. I probably do have, but or I was just lazy in these kind of classes. But
I mean, you just had that instinct towards creative things. So maybe,
yeah, so but in classes like art and sport and everything, I was very enthusiastic. So that was like just how I've turned out to be, you know.
Yeah.
And
And 6 years must have, doing what you like for 6 years must have felt like cakewalk. Like,
it's amazing. Like I feel like it fed so much to my soul, you know.
Yeah, it feeds your soul.
Exactly. And just being in Hungary, being in Budapest, and a place where art is taken so like the art culture is so respected, and they give a lot, and there's a whole, I wouldn't say industry, because they don't look at it as an industry. They look at it as more like a
Life.
uh,
Lifestyle.
it's a lifestyle. Like it's
Yeah.
probably it's integrated into their life, you know.
Yeah.
So there's no like how we have an industry in India. It's not a business for them.
Yeah, that's the main thing actually. Like,
Yeah.
so I'll tell you about my experience in Australia. I went to Australia just because of their sporting culture, and exact same reason, because sport over there wasn't a business. Like, over there. So the main thing, okay, before I get into my shit, I'll ask you that what was the thing, like, you spoke about Whistling Woods, and you like, just picture it, like if you did your course here in Whistling Woods, and if you did, like, you actually did it there, what was the main like thing that you learned over there that you couldn't have learned here? Like, what was the main difference?
Uh, Looking at art, as an artist.
Yeah.
So, um, if I would go to Whistling Woods, I think I would have looked at filmmaking as a business
Exactly.
and as a science.
More business.
More business, but like something to be formulated, you know, like how they have Bollywood formulas that X actor plus Y actress creates
the marketing,
box office blockbuster.
yeah,
Right.
the
It's a set
30,
formula.
yeah, formulas, yeah.
The set formula of a film ki ye hero
Ah.
heroine
Chalega.
this hero plus this action sequence creates
Ah.
and this item song creates this
Creates
blockbuster.
this kind of crowd, like
Exactly.
100
It's
crore
like a
films.
set formula. They don't have any creativity
improvisation.
behind it.
But then there's a part of like cinema that caters to that. Like there's a particular people, like particular actors that just do that. Like maybe like Rahul Bose or that. I'm just giving one example.
Yeah.
Right? There's like tons of people who just focus on that cinema, which is just creative cinema.
Yeah.
So like, have you explored those kind of people here? Have you met them here in Mumbai?
I'm sure there is a lot of art cinema happening in India. I haven't.
Plays, theaters.
I'm sure there's a lot of art theater and like I think more of the creativity happens in this space.
Yeah.
And art cinema is very close to my heart because of the kind of culture I grew up in while going to university.
Yeah.
So that's why I actually grew as a filmmaker. So before that, I was just a kid who wanted to make films, and then
Yeah.
when I went to university, I actually matured as a filmmaker, and it was more like that the meaning of cinema became that for me.
Yeah.
And then I've come back here, and then I haven't been so involved in cinema yet because I just didn't like it. I don't like the way it's.
Yeah, like
it's done
getting
here.
like that part is completely different. So like once we got back from
Yeah.
like, you know, from having that experience,
Yeah.
the things, like a lot of things changed. Like COVID happened,
Yeah.
but like before that, like, so I was going into my thing where I went to Australia just to focus on sports.
Yeah.
And even though I did like sport management, which was essentially the business of sport, like understanding the business side of sport, like my main reason was actually to just go and play sport and learn more about the science of sport. Now I don't have a science background, so I couldn't do sports science, but I did sport management. But I'll tell you, half the time I was in hanging out with classes, like hanging out with people doing sports science. I was going to like just training with like athletes who are getting the best facilities. So all this ice bath recovery stuff that's happening now, like I was aware, and like I was on the cutting edge of trends, and that's what the main thing for me was going abroad, and like really focusing on your niche. You're always on the cutting edge of trends in your industry, and
Exactly.
and that's the best thing.
That's the whole thing. Like in Europe, they are on the cutting edge of art. They are
Yeah.
the ones creating the trends.
Yeah, exactly.
It originates from there. And where does it originate from? It's not by looking at other people's art. It's coming from here.
Yeah, creating.
It's coming from meditation.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
it's not coming from looking at somebody else's art,
Yeah,
being
like-
inspired and being like, okay, I'm gonna take this from this person, this from this person, and this.
like
It's
not able to take
like you're not going to create something new if you're gonna take it from other people and like
constantly.
you know.
Yeah, like if you're thinking about money, then you can't create quality. I don't know. It might be like I haven't been able to merge the two things. Whenever I have tried to make money, I've only tried to make money, and whenever I've tried to do good quality stuff, I've done good quality stuff. I've like, it's a clear distinction. But I don't know how to just merge the two mindsets and do something that fills both desires together. So I don't know. I mean, but I going deep into like your niche, that's what it helped over there. I think the culture is individualism. Everyone's an individual and they collaborate more than compete. I think like when I went there, a lot of the Indian students who had come still had that competitive mindset, and they were like, you know, oh, I'm not gonna help this guy because he's gonna take my job later. And but the American or Australian or some other students that were there, mainly from Europe actually, they helped me get into the culture. They were like, if we don't include him in the culture, he's gonna feel an outsider, and he's gonna just judge us, or he's just gonna hate his experience.
You know who loses out when uh, when an artist is not an artist is not encouraged.
The audience.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The audience, but it's not even about the audience. It's about all the other artists. So me as an artist, if I want the bigger picture, the art to improve,
Yeah.
I bring more artists into the picture. There
Yeah.
are more artists around
More
me.
collaboration. More. Yeah.
Every human has an artist within them.
Yeah.
Every human has the capability to create.
Mm.
Uh, every human also has a businessman, has a scientist, has all these different aspects within them. So, the more people tap into that,
Mm.
that version of themselves or that dimension of themselves, who everybody wins.
Everybody wins. Is always collaboration over competition. Like that's what.
Exactly, and I think that survival instinct that is always India has put in, I don't know what it is, the government or whatever it can be, or the economic situation.
Economics.
Everything.
Right? It's just needs.
It's
more
just
than-
everything in India that people have taken advantage of to create this kind of atmosphere where people are always living on their
Fear
on
On
these
the edge.
low instincts.
on the edge.
Yeah, and then they it's within their being, to have fear sit inside of them and rule every action that they do, and that's where the competition comes from. That's where the need for competition
The
comes.
desire. It's also like if you're taken in like a positive light, it's also like that desire. Like it's there. Here, if we think about we got into our niche, like we got really deep into the quality of things, but like the fact that you try to go over there and try to make money, it's harder than making money in India. Like in India, you're getting like you get a labor for cheap. It's the best place to do business. You'll get a ready market. You'll get a like it's easy. Like labor's cheap. So my mindset tells me like in India, like once I got back, the straight thinking is like start a business here, anything. Like there's various types of businesses and setups and like you can start small but you just start because here it's like the best time and best place to start a business is what I felt.
Yeah.
Because of the competition and the hunger in people
Yeah.
and the ready demand. Like we have to obviously give some benefit of doubt and say some like good things about India to like balance it out because like it's surviving, it's like growing. It's not like it's not like we've just dulled down. Like even though like there's quality outside, like we've seen like it's great outside, but like what do you think about the good side of being here in India?
There's a lot of good side because we have such a market. Okay, there is a good side to it that I'm seeing that everything that's abroad is being replicated here.
Mm.
Everything that we have abroad, services, products, the market in itself, everything that's abroad, we're trying to make a makeshift version of it here.
Yeah, like US mostly.
Yeah, the American market. If you scroll on Instagram and you see like all the products that were available on in the US, now they're being made here.
I just remembered one of them. There's a sad octopus and like you squish it and there's a happy octopus. I just saw it on the
Yeah,
app.
I've seen that.
Oh, that was so good, man.
But
Yeah.
that's what it is. Like everything can be replicated here, and that's a good thing. That
Individualistic. It's not an individualistic society. It's a like come together and become powerful society. So like people here, I feel like there's a lot of Mumbai has a lot of groupism. Whoever I know, all my friends who have left, they mentioned this thing about Mumbai that we felt alone because like we didn't get to express ourselves and we were always in groups
yeah.
and like people were just too scared to like develop individual connections for some reason. I don't know. Like over
Yeah.
abroad, you become very
Fair
individual.
enough. I don't blame anybody for that.
Yeah.
Because it is like that. I sense it too. As soon as
Power
I came
games.
back,
Power
as
games.
soon as I came back, I was like,
That's where we're getting at. So like, as soon as you came back, like,
yeah,
when was it? Firstly,
2 years ago.
you came back 2022,
Yeah.
around Jan, Feb.
Exactly around the same time. I was back in August last
Okay.
2 years ago.
So then, yeah, these 2 years, how has your experience been then?
Very empty
Oh, okay.
because um, I feel like even though all these opportunities are there to take advantage of in India, things are easy to start a business and everything. There's everything available. All the government processes have gotten cheaper, have gotten
Simpler.
easier.
Yeah.
They're simple now. Everything is online. But we cannot. Like I personally, I am not feeling
Drive.
the drive that I used to have
Over
in
there.
Europe because of how the art culture is taken over here. I'm sure that I've come across a lot of people that are living and thriving
Yeah.
in India and Bombay. Um, I just haven't been able to do it myself.
Yeah, I mean, I got back in 2020 just before COVID. My experience was that I saw like in COVID the stock market just dipped. I was like we have like a history of being in the stock markets, and I was the only one who hadn't learned the skill of like portfolio management and like options and everything like related to the stock market. So I got into it so deep that my like years flew like this, like just flew by quickly, and like I forgot to focus on the sports side as much. There was also an injury that had happened, like ACL injury. So I mean, like I haven't been able to. I mean, I get the sport here is even more competitive, like sport culture here to get to the top, like it's mad. I mean, there are some corporates who have like a control over sport, like the non-dominant sports like football and like kabaddi. There's some corporates who have control over like the Lions, GSW. So I'm just like trying to be with them and see what they're doing to be on the cutting edge of trends here. But like, is that the corporatization in art, is that something that happened, or like it's how is it like in your scene?
I just feel like there is always this bigger entity above them that is actually standing in the way of being successful.
That's the thing. Like I haven't studied uh, art business, so I don't know who are the main players in it. But it's the same here in terms of FSDL, Reliance, basically Reliance owning the biggest leagues. So can you imagine like English Premier League
Yeah.
being owned by a corporate? Like Reliance is owning like the English Premier League equivalent in India. So I mean they call the shots, and they essentially determine like what happens with the national team as well, and like it has affected in certain games. And I'm just talking about football. I think cricket is run perfectly in India, but it's gotten so much importance because of the wins, and now like other sports need to like get there somehow. Like I mean, everyone's trying to figure out how to get like Olympics. There's a lot of support that's coming in for Olympians, so I think that will get the first push. Kabaddi being Indian origin sport, that will get the second push, and football being like a global thing.
Yeah.
It will automatically, I think, global India won't need to put a like push football as much as the world will push India to play more football.
Yes,
And
I
like
agree.
because that's what it seems like, because it's more beneficial for the world if India becomes a bigger market.
Yeah.
So I mean,
Yeah.
that's what I think. So I mean, hoping like fingers crossed that happens.
Yeah, for me too. Like I'm also a big football fan, and I really want India to be stepping up there.
Yeah, I mean that's where we met as well, like playing football in our locality, and like whatever in our area.
Yeah.
It was fun. We used to play on concrete. It was like stupid, but it
Yeah.
also helped like get skills and like be fearless.
For sure. We played on concrete like stupid kids and got hurt a lot, but at the end of the day, that's what we had.
Yeah,
We didn't have anything better.
Shit, man. Yeah. But yeah, no, like you've continued playing football, obviously.
Yeah.
For all these years.
Yeah, not like professionally or anything, but I play as a sport.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, like it's great. I mean, I have also lost touch with the game in the last few years, but I mean, hoping to get back at it soon. So, but, I mean, just trying to wrap up the whole first podcast, obviously. Trying to wrap it up, like now that you're here, like what do you think, like how are you trying to plan your, like, the next foreseeable future? It can be 6 months or 12, like a year, whatever, could be 3 years. Like how are you trying to like figure out your scene in India then?
Um, I think there's a lot of scope for being an individual here now than it was before I had gone to Budapest. And we spoke about how that individual culture is, it's in the mindset. That we spoke about that the mindset is still very tribalistic.
Yeah.
You know, it's still like a tribe.
Yeah.
And people who break through to that individualism, they're the ones who people are looking up to. Like, how did they do that? Like, how? I think it's just human tendency to look up to people who have that individuality. But it's easier to do in Europe.
Like individuality in Europe is one thing, but here, like, do you think that like you need a team, like you need actually
Of course, yeah. I think you always need a team behind you, no matter what it is. Going alone is
you go
much
fast.
Exactly. You can go fast,
but
alone,
you won't
but
go
you can't
far.
go further.
Yeah, you
know?
won't go far. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So having
Absolutely.
your team around you, I think I also take advice. I actually don't remember who I got this from, but having a board of directors around you, no matter who it is,
Like it doesn't need to be official.
take advice from them.
Yeah.
And when you are building yourself up, this board of directors will always help you.
Yeah.
So you don't have to figure out diet and nutrition by yourself. You can have a
like a
doctor.
reliable
Exactly.
board of directors.
You can have a financial advisor. Even if you are just just a kid who's graduated from high school, you can still have a financial advisor.
Yeah.
These things, they cost a little bit, but they give you far better returns.
I mean, it does not. So that's what I've been also doing, like having a set of reliable teammates, or
Yeah.
like people who are different, have different capabilities, and you don't have. It might not even cost you, because they find value in you, and you can contribute to them. Like you can be a board of director in their life, and they are like they are in yours.
Exactly.
So I mean, that's what I feel like the main conclusion is, that like in India, try to build your team, and like don't try to just be a solo, like Amitabh Bachchan, like angry young man against the system. It
Yeah.
is what it is, I think. I mean, we'll find out as we go. But thanks, Crush. Thanks for doing this,
Yeah.
and let's see if how this turns out actually when we go and try to have a look at the edits.
Yeah. Cool. This is a very nice time.
Yeah, fun. It's amazing.
We all set this up and looks good.
It looks good. Looks good. It's very like, it's like very garage rock band scene type.
Yeah, it's like we set it up in a spare room and
We actually have the video of like the initial setup.
yeah.
I'll upload that also. Like, just like whatever.
Yeah.